We get out of the truck. He grabs his bow. I grab my camera, and we're in our socks. We spot and stalk it. He goes out and he creeps over this hill, and I'm behind him with the camera, and I can't really see him. I can just barely see him. I'm sitting there and I'm recording, and I'm like, oh God, like, please don't let this mess up. Please don't let this mess up. And all of a sudden, I just hear him scream, and like an excitement scream. And I look up on the hill, and he has his bow in the air, and I ran at him and hugged him, and was trying my hardest to hold in my tears. And no joke, I look up at the sky, and I'm just like I just felt this like weep, and like I still get like shivers from talking about it. It was just like we prayed and it was answered. It just was like, okay, that can't be a coincidence.
Welcome to the next episode of the HuntXP Podcast. We're glad you're joining us for this one. For this one, we've got Damon Wolfe. And Damon is a filmmaker in the outdoor industry, young guy who's got his career off to a roaring start. And if you have not seen anything he's done, man, don't go watch right now. Stick around for this one. But then after this, check out his stuff because gosh, it's amazing. Johnny, you got to watch some of his stuff, right? It's just sweet.
Yeah. I'll put it this way. It's one of those things where you watch and it like stirs something inside you. Like you watch his work and you feel something. And I think that's the whole goal, right? He makes you feel things. And like he shot stuff for the likes of Chris B, Kaitlyn Maus, like he's worked with some big names in the industry and his work speaks for itself. So check it out.
Yeah. And just a solid dude. Like we connected with him. I forgot how we even got. I think just Instagram. I reached out a while back, and he's just such a solid dude. We get into other parts of his life, a bit of his story, share some hunting stories, get into his faith, have some great conversations about how he came to having faith in Jesus. Great story, and we kind of run the gamut a little bit on this. And if you are a creative yourself, you're going to resonate with this. And if you're a hunter who's followed some of the people he's shot for, you're going to love it as well. So stay tuned. It's going to be sick. The season is here, dude. As we are, the season, at least whitetail season is here.
Yes.
Have you gotten out yet or no?
No, I haven't. And my camera has shown that I should have got my kids out today, but we're busy. So we didn't. We're at a golf tournament and other stuff, but yeah.
That'll happen.
Yeah.
Well, I got out once, didn't work out for me, but I am dialed in with the heavy arrow setup, man. I'm so stoked about it. I went to these guys, Vapor Trail, that'll come up in this podcast because some network of relationship in Anoka, Minnesota. If you're around and haven't been to Vapor Trail, highly recommend it. Ricky over there got me dialed in, and I'm just dropping dimes, and I'm just like, I don't know if that's an expression you use in archery. I don't know if that
you can. Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. I feel I was shooting tonight in my backyard, and I'm like, all right, let's go. It's time.
It's also time for you to explain your hair. But I noticed right away.
It.
Yeah.
Dude, this is the surprise. It is the 1,000 sub mullet. I've done it. Just went for it. I had to celebrate. I don't know if it tops the 500 sub stash, but I'm like, I got to do something new.
Did your wife have the same reaction?
My wife cut my hair. She did it. So she's like,
awesome.
Sure, let's try. I'm like, I did not expect that from you, but I kind of like it. We'll see if it stays. Tell me if you hate it in the comments. If you're like, JD, you are not meant for a mullet and take that thing off immediately, just drop it in the comments. And I'm just doing it for the fun of it. I'm so stoked, dude. We went over 1,000 subs.
It's really cool.
Like that happening in a year is just nuts to me. Like Johnny and I and the crew just started this last year, and we're like, we'll see what happens. Who knows? And it's just wild to think there's 1,000 people who hit that button, and if you've been watching this for a while, I know that you're out there because you give us comments like, hey, I'm binging through your stuff. Love it. We'd love to know who you are. So DM us, say hi. I hope you're picking up that we're pretty personable dudes. So we'd be happy to connect with you. And would love to hear from you what you like about the podcast, what would you'd like to hear more of, and just tell us a little bit about yourself. Yeah, man. Well, I hope you get out with the boys.
Yeah.
Hope the luck
so too.
comes to you.
Yeah.
How about we jump in and hear what Damon's got to say?
Bring him on.
Let's do it. Well, Damon, you're here. Thanks for being on the HuntXP podcast, man. Glad you're here.
Yeah. I'm glad to be here.
That's awesome. Glad to be here. We attempted this back in turkey season, and this is just evidence of the life we're going to get to hear about here a little bit. But you were on the road. I think the story, if I remember, was a buddy called you up and is like, I'm on some birds. Come out here with the camera. Let's get on this. And then Johnny and I log on, and here's Damon driving down 94, and we're like, let's reschedule. Let's do this again.
Let's keep you safe. Let's get you home.
Yeah, can I tell this story quick? I don't think I got that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I was sitting on the couch. So Minnesota turkey season, I had a buddy come from Montana, and we hunted turkeys with Ricky actually pretty hard for like that first week and a half.
Yeah.
And like I filled my tag. Both my buddies filled their tag. Ricky still was trying to fill his tag, but he's busy with kids and life on the weekends. So
Ricky Brule, who we'll have on the podcast in a little bit if you're not familiar.
Yes, absolute G. So all my buddies were like tagged out, done for, and I was sitting on the couch, like kind of like taking my breath of like, we made it. Like, because I had a pretty exhausting like week and a half of chasing turkeys, not only with the camera, but with bows, right? And I'm sitting on the couch, and I have a buddy from Wisconsin, Hunter Elstrom, awesome guy. And he calls me and he's like, hey, was wondering if you wanted to like do a little turkey hunting. And I was like, yeah, dude, like would love to, expect him to be like, yeah, next weekend, whatever. And I'm like, okay, like, when are you thinking about going? He's like, tomorrow morning. And I'm like, can we like hold off? I'm like exhausted. And he called me at like 10 at night. And
wow.
I'm like, can we hold off? He's like, well, here's the issue. I didn't realize I had a tag until I checked the mail the other day, and my last day of the season is tomorrow.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, all right, well, what time do I need to be down there? He's like, oh, like 4 a.m. And he lives in like Hudson area, so it's like an hour or some drive. So like I had to wake up at like 2 a.m. So I got like 2.5 hours of sleep, woke up in my truck, and it worked out good because I needed to do some like creative work for Go Hunt. And so I was like, okay, I can work in some, work with this to kind of make it seem a little less like horrific, right? At least giving me a little bit more purpose in what I'm doing. Or at least give direction. I shouldn't say purpose, direction. So I drive down there, I get to his house, we hunt all day. Like right away in the morning, we were like on birds and they just weren't cooperating. We got busted by one, and it just kind of like led to an all day bender, because we're not going to go and take a nap or hang out. Like we have one day to fill this tag. So we were bouncing public to private. We were just like calling all day, like just trying to find a bird. And it was like getting to be like 6:30, 7 o'clock at night, like right before the sun's starting to set. And we're just like walking through the woods, kind of accepting defeat. And I, no joke, almost step on this tom. And he gets up and he starts running. And I look at my buddy Hunter. I'm like, gun, 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 gun. And he's like, what? And then looks up and sees the bird running. Poof, drops him in his tracks.
On the run or
on the run? On the run.
Oh my gosh. That's wild.
That was after calling at him all. I mean, this thing must have known we were there and just like hunkered down. And because I like almost stepped on it, it started to run away. So we shot this bird like right as the sun is like setting right before it. Like he must have been like, he was probably going to roost right in that area.
Yeah.
We only had the one day. So then we like grabbed the bird. Like, once you kill something, we wanted to do a bunch of photo and video op. And then we had to like hike down this hill and cross like a river. And we got in the truck and our boots were soaked. So like we went back to his house, dried off our boots and stuff. And then we went and got dinner. And I'm like, oh shit, I forgot. Like I got to hop on this podcast. And I'm not the type of guy that's going to like, I don't want to text you and be like, hey man, like let's reschedule. It's like, no, if I can make it work in the truck, let's make it work in the truck. So I hopped in, I hopped on 8:15, driving on the highway home. And yeah, so that's the story.
I distinctly remember in that conversation though, like, it's dark in your vehicle, and you would see like all of a sudden there'd be like a flash of light from the street lights, the lights on the highway, and we would just it was like a strobe light on your face, and you were like, "Hey, I'm here, I'm excited, but I've only got like 4 hours of sleep, maybe less, and I'm just like, we got this bird," and you were just completely like so overtired and overstimulated.
Yeah.
I think it was awesome.
Oh
That's
yeah, that
great.
sounds like something I'd do to myself.
That's great.
I love
Damon,
it.
take us way back, man. Here you are, you get to do this creative work out in the outdoor industry. How did this all start? How did you get to where you're at? I mean, I know that's a long story, but how did it all start?
Yeah, I mean, like a quick and dirty explanation is I grew up hunting. My grandpa took me hunting as like a really young kid. And my grandpa's a triple amputee too. So like he didn't have like access to like take me like on long hikes and like do certain things that like I've noticed some of my buddies have been able to do with their parents or grandparents, right? And he would take me hunting, and I just remember like sitting in the blind with him as he's turkey hunting and deer hunting. It was just so much fun. And then I finally got to the age where I could start understanding more of it. And my dad got me like into this archery, like youth archery program type of thing near our house down in southern Minnesota, southern Wisconsin. So that's actually where I grew up.
Hmm.
And I just remember going and like flinging arrows out of Genesis bows, and I just loved it. And it from there it just kind of spiraled into like a mega addiction of like shooting my bow every day. And I quick story, like picked dandelions, saved up enough money, and like got my first bow, started shooting bow, got addicted to that, and actually started doing competitive. So I shot competitive archery for a few years.
Oh, cool.
Then like
Yeah.
traveled around and did like, field shoots and 3D shoots and stuff like that. And like that was my start in like the hunting, like archery world, that I just like became addicted to like not only shooting a bow, but how to shoot a bow like good. And target archery was great and I loved it, but it started to get to the point where I was like exhausted and it just started taking the fun out of it for me. So I just like quit and went straight back to hunting of like the roots. And then as I started doing that, like COVID hit and all of a sudden school was canceled. Turkey season was about to start. And I'm like, hell yeah. And started, me and my buddies would just like shoot our bows and go on hunts. And like my mom would drop us off on some public land and we just like run around all day, bumping birds and stuff. I had a lot of time on my hands to like hunt and just like learn. And I started watching YouTube. And for me, like watching Crispy videos, watching knock on videos, and just like the main ones were Crispy, Heartland Bow Hunter, Seek One, I think at the time was like starting to ramp things up. Like the main guys of today's like archery and bow hunting world. I like idolize them and watch their videos over and over and over again. I found myself watching the videos more so for the production side of it, more so the hunting side of it. And especially Chris, like to me, he was one of the first YouTubers that implemented like B-roll and color grading and cut to music. And like that stuff just got me really fired up.
Yeah, almost cinematic.
Like telling a story in a cinematic way, but like also having the realism of it, right? So like that just made me so passionate, not only for the hunt, but I wanted to start capturing it like they were. So me and my buddies, I worked a landscaping job and saved up enough money to buy a A6400 from Best Buy, and just started kind of doing that. And my mom helped out buy that, and me and my buddies just started doing YouTube together. And they'd show up at my house after school, before school, and we would just like shoot our bows and film it. And we'd go and turkey hunt and deer hunt and waterfowl hunt and like just do stupid stuff. Like I filmed my childhood, which was really cool. And that was a lot of fun. And from there, it was a spiral effect of like, I need more, I need more, I need more, I need more. And then it led me into an internship with Sam Moore. And I worked with Sam Moore and his team for, I think, a year and a half, 2 years. Awesome experience. Love that team. Love that crew.
For those that don't know Sam Moore, what's his channel, or is it under Sam Moore? Or?
Yeah. So his Instagram is Sam Moore and his agency is Moore Media.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, he does production out of like Anoka. So it's just right out of where Vapor Trail's near. Loved working with them, loved doing that. And then that kind of spiraled me into maybe taking it on my own, right? Not so much because I didn't like him or the team. I loved him and the team. It just, I saw something more and something outside of what we were doing with him. And I wanted to try my own path and just see where it led me, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a huge thing with creative work is everybody's so different and so unique and how they love to capture and how they love to tell stories. But yeah, that's honestly where I am today. I graduated high school and didn't know what I wanted to do. And I didn't want to go to college because I knew how bad I was in high school, and I knew damn well I'd fail college. So I was like, I'm just going to go ahead and do this on my own and see what happens. And I'm just taking it day by day, and it's kind of it.
So post that experience, tell us when you jumped off and did all for one creative, right? As your media company, who have you gotten to work with? Give us the list of folks that came your way after you took that jump.
Yeah, so All for One Creative was actually me and my buddy Griffin. It started as an outdoor brand. So me and my buddy were sitting in his basement, and we were just like, we should just like make an outdoor brand that we can just like post videos and photos to. And that was after like what the YouTube stuff I did kind of split off. Like all my buddies, like we all kind of separated and like started taking our own path. So I wanted to do like outdoor specific, and Griffin's my best friend. We like go on all hunts. We started an outdoor brand. Then as I started to grow in media, like people were wanting to hire me to do production work. And I didn't have an LLC. I didn't have anything, but All for One was an LLC. Yeah. So I started actually running media production under the outdoor brand. It's like if you scroll, I don't know if it's still on there, but if you scroll like way to the bottom, like there's like outdoor brand stuff. So
I saw it from the swag. It looks awesome.
Yeah. So like that's the original start. It's like I never started All for One with the purpose of it being a media company. It was like just an outdoor outlet for me to post our hunts on. And then it was like, okay, like this, I need to start like keeping track of income and expenses, and I need to start filing taxes, and I didn't want to do that through my personal name. So I was like, I had talked to him and was like, hey, can I run All for One as my media company? And it was like an easy handshake, and we did it, as far as clients, Vapor Trail was my first client.
Awesome.
So I walked into Vapor Trail and like was just shooting my bow, shooting with the camera, and like got to meet Ricky, and we just like kind of grew from there. And I remember like reaching out to him like in the shop one day. I was like, hey, here's like my contact. We just want to like work some things out. Like, I'd love to trade a rest for some photos. Like I'm all for that, right? Like I'm young and poor. Like it can save me some money, and I'd love to, support you guys because you're local. And that's what it started as. And then it just kind of grew and grew and grew. And now we're doing work with them monthly, and it's awesome. And they're just great people. So Vapor Trail was one of the first. And then, that kind of led me to like who I'm working with now. Everybody's kind of come at different stages of what we've done. But yeah, I mean.
Well, why don't you just start telling us the stories? So what was your first big gig where you're like, okay, this is me going with a camera and I have to produce a hunting video for these people?
Yeah.
On your own.
Yeah, I would say first big gig, like my first big like shocker, like almost an oh shit moment. I actually so one of Chris's old employees, Riley Wesinger, reached out to me, and he's like, hey, do you want to come and help support film on a hunt? And at the time, like I didn't know he was working with Chris B, right?
Mm-hmm.
He reached out to me and was like, do you want to come and support this? Like let's hop on a call. And I was like, yeah, I'd love to help, thinking it's just a random hunt. And then I hopped on a call to him. He's like, yeah, we're going to, I think it was Kentucky, to film Chris and a giveaway winner. And I was like, holy cow. Like, I'm going to go and film with Chris B. Like, this is.
Yeah. What was that like having, you said in your words, idolized his work? What was that like?
Well, now I look at it differently. At the time, I was pretty starstruck, right? But then you meet a guy like Chris, or you meet anybody, and we're all just human, we're all real people. Like Chris is no different than us, like we're all guys that love to shoot bow and hunt and cherish the land we hunt. Like we're all images of God, right? Like I love looking up to people and gaining inspiration, but I don't like idolizing, because I think it can put people in a negative space, especially yourself too, if you do it too much, right? And social media kills that for a lot of people. But yes, first time I was like, oh wow, this is unreal. But then as I started working with him more, it's like now he's a friend, and it grew from there, right? And I think that's an important thing to know, especially going into something that might be a dream gig or a dream job or a dream project. Like we're all the same, right? For the most part. And that's what I love the most, right?
We've had a similar experience with some of our guests because like you ask someone and you kind of like someone who you're like, yeah, they probably won't hop on, or maybe it's a long shot, and then they'll say yeah, and they'll hop on the pod, and you're like, oh yeah, you're just like exactly like us, and
Yeah.
then you start like now we're all networking and texting each other and doing all that stuff, and it's just really a cool thing, you form relationships and bonds, and now maybe this person that you thought was someone else, you're like, no, they're just like us, just like you've said.
100%. Like we all love hunting so much, and we all like for the most part, right? Like there's bad people here and there, but for the most part, like we're all good people that have good intention, right? And that's the goal, that's the hope. And if you can align with people that have the same goals or similar ethics as you, life is pretty freaking awesome.
Yeah.
Especially if you can find those people and work with them, then it's like, oh, game over.
Yeah.
And not even in a competition aspect, right? Like there's a lot of people that look at it from a competition aspect, and like if you look at it that way, you're setting yourself up to fail. Like this, it's a competitive game, right? And you can look at it as a competitive game, but for the most, at least what I do, like I'm looking for the betterment of not only the production, but the stories we're trying to tell, and how can I help the people that support me? Because that's my biggest thing is I wouldn't be here without the people that have supported me. Like I'm just a guy, right? Like at the end of the day, I'm just a guy that likes to click buttons. And I will never hop on a podcast or a conversation and tell you that I'm some guy that knows what he's doing, because I still don't feel that way. Right. Like I have some extreme insecurity and what's the word for when you don't feel like you belong, right? Like that imposter syndrome. Yes. Like I can create a film, I can shoot a hunt. Hell, I could kill a 200-inch deer. And in my brain, that's luck. Right. And it's a beautiful thing, right? But it also can hurt you. But for the most part, it's helped me and just keeping me grounded. And I never want to feel like I'm up here and people are down here. That's not my life.
Yeah.
I've had to check myself multiple times, right? I think everybody does. But that kind of leads back to like working with Chris or working with this person or working with this person is like, we're out here trying to do good work. So, yeah.
It's incredible wisdom in that, man. Appreciate you laying it out that way.
Did you know that you can use AI to become a better hunter? Here's what you got to do. Our team at HuntXP has built a custom AI. We call it Crockett. And it is the combination of the power of AI and the collective wisdom of hunters for many years mashed up together and put right in your pocket, right in the field, where you can level up your hunting game. You can ask it things like, what's the best broadhead setup for my situation? What's the best day to hunt this week? All sorts of questions. It's super fun. Our community is having a great time building this. We'd love for you to join in at huntxp.com. Join us.
And it all leads back to faith. And that's a whole nother thing, right?
In prep for this conversation, I know we share a deep love, not only of the outdoors, but of Jesus and our relationship with God. And that's something that you're upfront about, and your passion just right alongside your passion for the outdoors. And it struck me, you mentioned the image of God. One of the first things that God kind of gives us as image bearers is to be creative. Like like to image God, there's no other thing that God created that can be as creative as we can. And that's part of the keystone gift, I believe, for what it means to be an image bearer of God and what it means to honor that in other people. And honestly, Johnny and I have talked to a lot of creatives on this podcast, and I keep getting struck by how deeply creative the hunting community is. And I think people don't really understand that. They think of us hunters as like, blaze orange blue jeans and a can of beer. And it's the further you get into hunting, there is this deep connection with creation and the creative process in the midst of telling stories of this practice of exercising our commission to steward nature as image bearer. And it's just remarkable, the deeper I get in these conversations, to see that more deeply represented. Like what people are like, maybe look at what you do and be like, oh, you film people killing stuff. And you're like, no.
I mean, yeah, but no.
Yeah, yes, but no. It's so much deeper than that. And so I would love for you to just talk a little bit about that. And you could go a lot of different directions with that long-winded question. I just see the spark of creativity in you and a tenacious passion to not only pursue outdoor experiences, but to keep getting better at creatively telling those stories. Where does that come from? Like, how do you make that? How do you understand that part of yourself?
I mean, if I were to ask you guys, like, do you guys remember the moment you fully believed in God? And I'm not talking like, yeah, I know who God is, but he's just a guy, right? Like for me, I grew up in a Catholic church, Catholic school, like went to church with my family, and like God was this thing, right? And I was told to believe in him, and I trust my parents, so I just believed in him, right? But my true faith and like my true belief in God never occurred to me until I was on a hunt. And I was on a hunt with my buddy, and we had, to me, a miracle happen. And that miracle was so powerful and so strong that the moment that miracle happened, I was like, okay, there's no denying it. And to me, having that connection between hunting, God, but then I also filmed it. So it was like a spark between all of it that has just kind of like kept me going, right? Because I've been on hunts recently, or, you know, within the last couple of years of just like, they're a grind, or you have hardship, you have struggle. But I always look back to like that one hunt that I'll remember until the day I die.
What happened? Do you mind sharing, or is that just for
no,
you?
no,
Okay.
I would love to share it. So me and my buddy Griffin, ex-co-owner of Outdoor Brand, All for One. We were on a mule deer hunt in Nebraska, and it was an absolute grind. So we hunted for like 5 or 6 days, and every day we just hopped in the truck and went and asked permission, because the public land around us was not providing. So we're finding a lot of our deer on private ground, right? So we had to get permission in order to get access to some of the deer we wanted to go after. And we hunted and drove and knocked on doors for 5-6 days straight, consistently got told no. Me and my buddy had many fights in the truck, screaming, yelling, like big arguments of like, what are we doing? Why are we doing this? You know, like ultimate hardship, right? Like if you ever go on a hunting trip with a guy or a buddy, right, longer than a week, you like after a while, you kind of start to get either sick of him, or you want to punch him, or we were having some rough times, man. Like rough times. Like I think we were both just wanting to leave. And at one point we looked at each other like, why are we still here? Because we just kept getting told no and getting told no. Well, this one morning we went out and we found a buck, and just like the rest of the week, it was like, oh, another buck, another no. Let's just mark it and we'll go and try and knock on his door. And we mark it, you know, grabbed lunch, went to town, then went back about midday, and we're like, here goes nothing. Like, let's just go knock, expecting a no. And we drove up, knocked on the door, and this very lovely elderly couple came out and was like, hey, how can I help you? And like, hey, we saw a deer in your field earlier. It was just like literally this one singular cornfield. Like it wasn't even a big piece of property. It was just their backyard had a cornfield in it, and this deer was in it that morning. We didn't even know if it was still there. We just wanted to go and knock. And they're like, yeah, we would love for you to do that. Like you have all the rights in the world to go do that type of thing. So we're like, oh, wow, that's different. We finally can hunt on something. And we're like, okay, but that means we need to find the buck. And what are the chances that the buck is still going to be there, right? It was like during the rut, we kind of expect him to be gone. We get on the dirt road, we glass him up, and he's bedded in the middle of the cornfield with the few does he was with. So not only did we get permission, but we found the buck. And he was like probably within 50 yards, 100 yards of where we saw him that morning. So it's like, okay, like, and at the time, like, we're so eager, right? Because we spent so much time like trying to get that moment of like permission and also having a deer on it, that I was in the state of mind, like, we just need to go, we need to go, we need to go, we need to go. Like, let's go kill this thing. Let's go after it. Like, we can't wait. And I'm in the truck with my buddy, Griffin, and we're sitting in the truck, and I'm like, I parked the truck, like, because we're like, hey, where should we park? Where should we go at it? Like, we kind of planned it out on mapping. And I like parked the truck, shut it off, and I'm like literally about to open the door. And my best friend that has never really spoken about God, has never spoken about Jesus, has never brought to me his faith, has never mentioned anything really about God himself, looks at me and goes, no, we need to pray. We need to pray for like a few minutes. And I'm like, okay, well, like I believe in God. Like I didn't know you did, but like, okay, like, yeah, let's do it. So we just sat there in silence, closed our eyes, and just like, I was like, Lord, this week has sucked. Like, this is like hell. And this, like I'm struggling really bad. And I would just like kind of like let it all out to him, right? So I was putting that frustration on my friend, and nothing was happening, nothing was going right. And I just kind of gave it to him. And I didn't ask him what he prayed about, but I'm assuming it's something similar. And like we didn't like after the prayer, we just kind of like looked at each other and like knew it was time to go. We didn't talk to each other. It was just kind of like, okay, let's go. And we get out of the truck. He grabs his bow. I grab my camera, and we're in our socks. We spot and stock it. He goes out and he creeps over this hill, and I'm behind him with the camera, and I can't really see him. I can just barely see him. I'm sitting there and I'm recording, and I'm like, oh God, like, please don't let this mess up. Please don't let this mess up. And all of a sudden I just hear him scream, and like an excitement scream. And I look up on the hill, and he has his bow in the air, and I ran at him and hugged him and was trying my hardest to hold in my tears. And no joke, I look up at the sky, and I'm just like I just felt this like weep. And like I still get like shivers from talking about it, right? Like it was just like we prayed, and it was answered, and it was deserved. And it was deserved, so I think, right? That's not my judgment, that's his. But it just was like, okay, that can't be a coincidence. And then afterwards, like, we were excited, and we were taking care of the deer, and we were just like, we couldn't stop talking about the miracle. Like we're just like couldn't stop talking about it, because like it was unreal. So that moment for me was kind of like, okay, I need to start looking into this whole God thing a little bit more.
Wow.
So yeah, and that was kind of my like head start into believing, because before that I was a believer. Like I believed almost to fit in, to not feel or be that weird atheist guy or the guy that asks questions, right? Because you never want to be the guy that asks questions, right? You seem dumb, or you seem like you don't want to like. If I just say I'm a believer, it's easier than saying, well, did he actually rise from the dead? Or like, if you just say you're a believer, it's easier than saying, do miracles really happen? Or by saying you believe, it's easier to say you believe than to say like, why do innocent kids die from cancer? Right? Like saying you believe is a lot easier than actually asking the questions that people don't like to ask, right?
Yeah.
So that miracle and that situation was like a turning point for, okay, instead of just saying I'm a believer, I'm actually going to ask those questions, and I'm going to start to learn about it. And I'm going to like at least put in a little bit more effort than I have been. Right. And like, even like to this day, like I fail, right? Like there's days I don't go to church. There's days I like don't even like think about it. Right. And I'd be a liar if I said that wasn't the case, but then it always kicks me in the ass, and I'm always brought back to him. And I think that's the beauty. Right. It's a very powerful thing, especially if you use it every day, especially now, especially this last week, everything that's been going on. It's like after this last week, like if you have faith and you trust in him, it makes everything a little bit more streamlined, right? Because there's an end goal, right? So that was a long explanation, but that
Dude, thank you
for sharing. Thanks for sharing that.
I appreciate that. Yeah.
So
good.
Yeah.
I appreciate how authentically you have led it into your life and pursued those questions. I don't know what that's looked like for you in detail, but I like that approach. I feel like that's such a good spin on the story, where you're sitting there and you don't see anything in the stand, and you're cold, and you're like, please Jesus, please Jesus, please Jesus. Like there's that advantage, like you never pray better than, during rut when you haven't seen anything. But that's distinctly different, dude. Having all of the hardship that surrounded that, and genuinely pursuing God in the midst of that, and
100%.
and that sparking a new life for you. I appreciate that a lot, man. That's great.
Like God tests us, right? And like you said, the guy during the rut that's in the tree eating the Little Debbie, and he's like, Lord, bring me a big buck. It's like, well, that guy maybe hasn't worked.
I didn't say Little Debbie, but that's even better.
That guy maybe, like in his eyes, he might see himself as like the hard worker that deserves a big buck, right? And like I think we all do at some point. It's like, I put in so much work. Why am I not shooting this big buck? Or why is my target buck not daylighting? Or please, Lord, just let it happen. But this Nebraska mule deer story was just something different. Like it wasn't a big buck, please, or like it wasn't even the fact that we were praying for a deer. We were just praying for like a relief of like, just give us something. Like, just give us something, right? Like, don't even like, it doesn't even need to be a deer, but just give us peace. And he brought us that peace, and he's connected me with that certain friend to a level that I don't have with anyone else. Wow. Right? Because we've shared that together. And to me, that's so insanely important, especially in friendship, but also just in life. Like, expecting something all the time is just not a great way to go about things.
Yeah.
So
when I hear that story, I think of how often we try to do it all ourselves and manufacture it ourselves, and our faith is in ourselves to make this moment happen. And really, like in your story, it's like on full display. God was just saying, no, could you just give it to me? Could you just unload that burden and let me take care of it? And then you did. And then he's like, look, I took care of it. I took care of you. I just think that's really powerful, and it's beautiful.
Yes. And I think that what you just mentioned not only plays a part in success, right? But it also plays a part in failure, right? Like, I've had failure and loss in my life. Like, people have died in my life, and I've had issues like with like self-esteem issues, like not feeling like I'm worth it, or, not having certain aspects, right? Or struggling with certain things, right? And it's like, okay, yeah, we worked hard for a deer and we shot a deer, and like, God loves me. But then there's also the other story, right? That I think is important for people to know, is this isn't just for like, if you pray enough, you'll get a mule deer. Like, that's not the story, right? Like, you might work on a project and it completely fails, right? And in the moment you're like, this sucks. But then when you give it to God after it's done, or if you have an issue in life and then after it's failed, after like you didn't kill the mule deer, afterwards you give it to God, even though you didn't succeed, you still learned something from that experience that brings you closer to him, but also creates a better person of yourself. And I think that's important, is like, I'm not on here to tell you if you pray enough, you're going to kill a mule deer, or if you work hard enough, you're going to just get money or get success or get whatever. It's like, no, this plays a role in everything that you do in life. And that to me is the thought that I have behind that.
What I'm hearing, Damon, is like, most of the Little Debbie prayer sessions are transactional. Like, hey, God, can you come through for me? The prayer you prayed was transformational. Like, that's different. There is a like, hey, can you enact change in my life now, deeper than just the deer coming by? And that, I think, if you're open to experiencing God in the outdoors, not from a transactional perspective, like, hey, God, can you come through for me here? But in a transformational perspective, God will come through in that way. And there is lessons, like Scripture says, all creation sings the glory of God. The glory is there to be found in the failure, in the success, and it will transform you. It can, by the sound of it here, change the trajectory of a life. Yeah,
100%. And 100%. Like, I have this conversation, or I'll tell people that story, and they're like, well, especially people that like to test faith, or people that have just like genuine questions. Like, okay, well, if you didn't say that prayer, and like, would you believe now? It's like, well, I don't know, right? Because maybe something else happens in my life where I'm brought, right? And then I have that I have that conversation with other people that are maybe trying to seek God, or just have questions. It's like, when is that going to happen to me? And I don't have that answer, right? Like, everybody's timing and everybody's story is so unique and so different that I can't tell you that, right? But I can offer it as a tool and offer it as an outlet to where you can go about it and just know it's there. To me, that's the most important thing, is like, I don't have answers to a lot of the stuff that people ask,
Damon, one of the things in watching your work that you are exceptional at, not just camera work, but you have the creative ability to see the story unfold and then put it in front of people who will watch the film and track with the story. I'm thinking specifically here, both Form the Storm that you did with Ricky, who we mentioned earlier, is the one I've seen. Other stuff that you've done, I think it's called The Haul, the caribou hunt with Prime.
Yeah.
And one of the things I was struck by is like, one of the things that Damon's particularly good at is bringing you along the story without standing in front of the camera and saying, this is what's happening next. Like, the way that you're visually able to capture the story and draw people in How did you learn how to do that? Like what are you seeing in your eye as you're on a hunt that you're trying to capture? Does that question make sense? Or like,
Yeah.
is that just like, that's what I do, man? I can't explain it.
No, I would, I mean, yes and no, right? Like there is definitely some things that just have kind of become autopilot for me, but I can also like try and explain the things that have become autopilot for me. So like part of that, explaining the story, like you mentioned, like explaining the story without somebody looking at the camera and actually like telling you what the story is, right? Because to me, like if a person is in front of the camera and is telling you a certain thing, like yes, that explains the story, but it also like it might actually take away from the story, right? Because they're not in a natural element of like conversation or hardship or success, where you find those moments of authenticity and success and hardships is when people are in their natural element of hardship, right? And like that stuff. So like for me, what I'm looking for is like environmental details. So like, you know, rain, snow, crunchiness, like I'm looking at like fine detail stuff as I'm on the hunt. So like form the storm, for example, like bitter cold. So I want to see the frost on the thing. Like I want to see like the heat. I want to see like, I don't want Ricky just telling me it's cold. Like I want to see Ricky cold. I want to see Ricky like trying to get warm, because if you see Ricky trying to get warm, you know it's really cold. And Ricky doesn't need to tell the camera he's really cold, because you're assuming that based on him like trying to make his hands warm, right? So like those are the things that I try and focus on when I'm shooting something, is finding the details that explain the story that you not necessarily have to ask your talent to say. But I also have been on hunts and still continually do this. I do like updates, right? Or if there's like something that happens quick, if we're going in on the stock, I always like to ask for it. But I'm still looking in my head and trying to visualize like what aspects of where I am can tell that story.
So give us a story beyond North Dakota, and give us a story of either a failure or a tough time that taught you a lot about what you do now or hunting.
So like form the storm, or so the hall taught me a lot about gear maintenance while being in the field, right? So I filmed in Alaska one time before that. Alaska is very wet. There's a lot of rain, right? That hunt was an awesome hunt. During the hunt, moisture got into my top handle and fried my microphone and the XLR cable on it. So I learned on that hunt that like headphones while recording, monitoring audio levels, drying off equipment out at the end of the day, like that hunt to me taught me gear maintenance. And now I don't go on a hunt without headphones, a backup XLR cable, and like an extra towel or like an extra shirt to put around the gear to keep it dry and to keep moisture from not getting in it. Form the Storm also taught me gear maintenance in a certain way of like keeping batteries warm, but also like Form the Storm, like the film is one thing, but Form the Storm for me was the first film project that I've ever done where I was working on it from the start to the finish, right? So typically like if a company comes to me or like a hunting influencer, whoever it may be, comes to me, it's like, hey, I want this hunt captured. Typically there's already a brand that's paying for it or is involved on it, and there's already direction and a goal on what they want. Or a hunter might just be like, hey, capture day 1 through 5, and then I'll have my editor edit it, like stuff like that, right? Where Form the Storm was an idea that me and Ricky had. And me and Ricky came together, and Paul Vincent was a part of it as a photographer. And like we had this idea and we came together. And from the start of it to the end of it, we did the full process of pre-production meeting, trying to get, companies that we already currently worked for on board with it. So like creating pitch decks, having creative meetings with each individual company and what their involvement wanted to be. But then also planning out the shoot, what gear we needed to bring. Like I drove my truck out there, there's a bunch of logistical things that went into that. But then also the deliverables, like being on location and making sure that we were getting assets for each company's needs. And then also going into a post-production time, which was about 2 to 3 weeks for me on my desk, editing it, right? And it's like a 20-minute film. And now I would like to believe that I can maybe get it done a little bit quicker. But at the time, it's like, no, we got to put everything into it. And the failures from it, right? Like there's little failures in between all those little things I mentioned, right? So like pre-production and outlining and editing, the more you do that, the more you can fine tune that system to make it more efficient, more profitable, and also just more like fun, right? Sure. Like there was a lot of long nights editing it. And there was also a lot of like email threads and meetings and things that went into just a 20-minute film. But then also getting out there and not killing after freezing your butt off for 5 days, that also adds to something. And then after, it's like, okay, now we have to tell the story without a kill. So like, what's the story and the learning lesson from not harvesting, but then also bringing it back to, what the main goal is. So like all those things add up. I would say as a director or whatever, right? Like that was my first go at it, and it was awesome, and I'm blessed. But I also learned a lot.
Are you going to get to hunt in your future, or are you just making films?
I've had that conversation with a lot of people, actually. I love to hunt myself, and it's the whole reason I'm in this. But I would be lying if I said I didn't love filming almost as much as hunting. Like to me, like being able to do that pre-production work and to capture it and to edit it and deliver it and like tell a story for people to watch. Like when I'm behind the hunter and he comes to full draw and I'm holding the camera, boys, I am shaking just as bad as he is. And I am getting
for
just
stabilization.
Hallelujah, brother. Like I'm just sitting there like holding my breath, just like trying to keep it stable. And then when he shoots that and harvests that animal and we look at each other after we just spent 4, 5, 6, whatever days with each other trying to fill that tag, like I get my fixation from that. Yeah. And then another aspect in how I see it is like I'm 20, right? And like being able to go on some of the trips I've been able to go on, like especially these like hunting trips to Alaska and Montana and Colorado, like those are all trips that if I didn't do this, like I wouldn't be able to afford to go.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
Maybe I would be able to, but like I've been so blessed. Like I've hunted a lot of animals, right? Like I've been able to learn a lot about elk and mule deer and antelope. And when I'm on those hunts filming, I'm asking questions, not only to tell the story creative wise, but just to like learn about being a better hunter in all these different species. For me, I soak that stuff in. And yes, one day I'd love to go and kill a mule deer and an antelope and an elk, and that's great. But to me, like this is I'm just soaking it in right now. But hunting wise, yes, Halloween to my birthday, November 2nd, I've left time for me to go and whitetail hunt myself. It's like a 3-4 day period where I just like to go and sit in the tree stand, no camera, like not even I don't even bring a backpack. I just like walk out there with my bow and a grunt tube and I just soak it in. And last year I was blessed. I was able to shoot a good buck and I'm very grateful for that. So yeah, that's kind of how I roll.
Wise choice, dude. Wise choice. I feel like that's a good discipline to still want to be in the game. Like you got to go get some solitude yourself and experience the no recording, just you in the woods. Like I feel like every hunter's got to come back to that every once in a while. Like I can even feel that now. Johnny and I just starting to film, with our iPhones and like, I don't even want to put our filming in the same category of what you do. Totally different thing. But we can still relate.
Still, like, man, it's work.
All the complications, like all the batteries that got to be charged, all the things you got to consider. It's like twice as much mental work to like,
dude,
to get out there. So I think that's a really wise discipline to go out there with nothing and just enjoy the woods.
Yeah, I love like last year. I remember I had a trip November 7th that I had to be on. Yeah, I think it was November 7th, 8th or 9th, whatever. I had I had to make a flight to go and do some filming, and I had like a 3-day window in between, and I was like, I was caught up with all my production stuff, like, and that's another challenge, guys. Like you can always do something, and that's my issue. Is like there's a lot of times where I probably could go and hunt, but I just like find things I can do that like elevate what I do and elevate like the companies I work with that I struggle leaving it behind because I almost feel like I'm failing the people I'm working with. Right. It's like, okay, I could either work on this or, maybe try a new editing feature or like, go and shoot something like maybe for fun, but it might elevate a piece of production later. But like last year, I was just like, I'm just going to go and hunt. And I drove to my dad's in Wisconsin. And I slept in my truck and I woke up and just like grabbed my bow. I was already sleeping in my bibs and I just walked up there and I was just looking around. I actually think I was sleeping and I woke up as the sun was rising And I like looked around and rattled, and all of a sudden this buck comes into like the base of my tree, and I'm like, God bless you. And I shot it, and I was ecstatic, and I FaceTimed my mom and my girlfriend. It was such a good feeling.
Yeah.
And I didn't have to worry about like getting B-roll. I didn't have to worry about shooting photos. Like luckily I had a buddy across town that came and helped me shoot some photos. But it was just like super, because when an animal is killed and I'm on a work trip, that's like, okay, now we gotta like get our year's worth of assets, because those are always the pictures and the shots that like survive years to come, right? Like shots of antlers and hands and stuff like that. But when it was my own deer, it's like, I don't need that. Like, I'm just gonna look at him and say a prayer.
I remember the rifle buck I shot this year. I shot him like, it's a nice 10-pointer, and I shot him like a half hour into opening morning of Wisconsin rifle season. And I just sat down by him and drank my coffee. I didn't even do anything for like an hour and a half other than just sat by him, drank my coffee, thank God. And then I started working on him. But it was just sitting next to that deer and just appreciating what had taken place that morning. It's fantastic.
It's amazing, man. It brings you so much peace, and it like brings you back to why you're doing it.
Absolutely.
And it's awesome. So you hunt Wisconsin, where roughly? You don't need to give up your spot or anything.
Yeah, no, just northern Wisconsin.
Share your onyx pins right now, Johnny.
No.
Yeah. My hands are here. I don't have my pins up or anything.
Yeah.
So you hunt northern Wisconsin?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Sweet. Well, you got to come down south. Maybe we get on a hunt or something.
That would be awesome.
Because I hunt right across from Winona.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah, wow.
I would love to join you.
Yeah, dude. I'd love to have like, I've always wanted like a deer camp with just a bunch of homies, like Minnesota, Wisconsin, archery, just like campfire, and
let's do that, man.
I'll probably bring a camera, but that's whatever.
Sounds amazing.
Yeah, dude.
Johnny's, maybe only, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but Johnny's Minnesota hunting experience was hunting Fort Ripley, right?
Yeah.
Johnny?
Yeah. It was wild.
Have you ever heard of this, Damon?
No.
So they give like tags to Fort Ripley, the huge army fort up by Brainerd area.
Oh, the size of
and
the fort itself is like the size of Duluth. Like that's how big it is, like the acreage inside of a fence.
Yeah.
Okay. And they do a lottery system, and I don't remember how many thousand tags they give out, but me and my cousins went, we got drawn, and you go in there, and it is like, you have to wait, you have to get in line in your truck at like 3 a.m. and then they let you in one by one, and then it's free for all. Go wherever you want in there. And there's people everywhere. Yeah. But you walk up on people all the time, and it's kind of just expected. So most people are like, hey, I'm here. And you're like, okay, yeah, move on. Well, I found this spot on the map, and believe it or not, no one else was there. And I get there, and I'm climbing up the tree stand, or like my sticks, and I'm pulling my bow up, and I'm like, oh, there's a doe. And I'm like, because my cousin from Minnesota is like, I've done this before. Deer just start running all over the place because it's crazy, right? Like, oh, there's a doe. And all of a sudden there is just a hammer 8-pointer, and he's coming, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like I'm going to like tag out like right now. But I think that hammer 8-pointer has done this before, because those does walked by me at like 20 yards, and I'm like, oh, he's going to do the same thing. I even like drew my bow back, and he was like, nah, I'm going to stay out here at like 80. And he never came by. And then I like text my cousin. I'm like, hey, you're like 200 yards away. Here he comes. And he said that deer did the same thing. The does, they walked right under his tree, and he's like, he stayed in the brush and skirted me. But it's madness.
He's smart.
That hunt. Yeah.
That's crazy. I didn't know that was a thing. That's pretty.
The state record from Minnesota. The state record from Minnesota was shot in there during one of those hunts.
Really?
Yeah.
Holy cow. It sounds like warfare, dude. I'd be nervous to be in there.
Yeah, it was weird.
Sure.
I didn't love it.
Don't go walking in there with a decoy.
No, definitely not.
Oh, that would be pretty rough.
Yeah.
All right, Damon. Well, we're going to wrap things up with a fire round. We've been doing these where Johnny and I are just going to give you rapid fire questions here. We'll see how far it goes. Give us one word or short explanation answers. Okay.
Okay. Yep.
First one. What's something that people don't know about Chris B that you find funny, or without throwing him under the bus?
Yeah.
They wouldn't know about him.
He likes gas station eggs.
Oh,
Nice.
what?
That's great.
Like,
That's
that's
exactly
hard.
what I was looking for.
I don't know. Yeah, in the cup.
Oh. All right, that's fair.
But I don't know if he still does. But I saw him get him like a couple times, and I was a little thrown off. But God bless him.
Never meet your heroes, Damon. Never meet him.
I still love Chris to death.
Down with those gas station eggs. Yeah.
All right,
That's
I got
awesome.
one for you. So you have some free time. You can't go hunting. You're not working on something. Like, what's something else you fill your time with? What's something else you enjoy doing?
Oh, I work a lot. Gym.
You go to the gym? Yeah, good.
Yeah. It used to be for like gains or weight loss, but now it's just for mental capability. Like, I just love, like, I used to try and, well, at first I was like, I tried to lose weight, and then I tried to gain weight, and then now I'm just like, it just brings me peace. So that's all I do.
The number one non-medicinal stress reliever. I'm a Phi Ed teacher, and I teach strength and conditioning class, so I always preach that to my students. Number one non-medicinal stress reliever.
Yeah, dude. I typically go like later in the day, so I'll go like I used to go at 5, and it's just so busy, so I quit going at 5. But now I'll go at like 6 or 7, and that's typically when I'll quit working, and I just put like headphones on and just listen to music and lift, and I just always feel so refreshed. And then I'm not thinking about work before I go to bed, because I'll like go to bed thinking about work, and I just wake up in the middle of the night, or not in the middle of the night. I sleep pretty hard, but like in the morning, I just start thinking. Gym is a good reliever.
It's good. Videographer, cinematographer you admire either in the industry or outside of it somewhere? Whose work do you admire?
I admire Mark Bone a lot. So he has Art of Documentary, and he is an amazing storyteller outside of the outdoor space. But a lot of the stuff he talks about is like, you can bring that into the outdoor space. So Mark Bone, if you're looking, Mark Bone is an awesome outlet. Danny Gabertz, another great outlet to watch. He's a younger guy, very talented, and just does it right. Those are like my two main guys. Like Peter McKinnon at the start was for sure like a huge, like, he's where I learned a lot of the basics from, was Peter McKinnon.
Nice.
But then like getting into more longer form stuff for, commercial work, those two guys, Mark Bone, Danny Gabertz.
Nice.
You are going on a dream hunt of your choosing. Where are you going and what are you hunting? Love it.
Mm-hmm.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
We got to get you hooked up with our guy, Justin Gibbons. We did an interview with Justin Gibbons, Limitless Outdoors.
Okay.
Moose hunting in Alaska is his specialty. He jumped on the pod with this like float plane in the background. We're like, we know this guy's legit.
Yeah.
And then he tells us the story of moose hunting, and he's amazing. Great guy. So
yeah, dude, like I just got into like shooting a longbow, and I spent like a lot of time last summer practicing, and I went on a doe hunt and tried to harvest a doe, and I just missed by a little bit. And I think I want to learn how to shoot it proficiently, and I want to shoot, whitetail deer, and it would be cool to do some spot and stock with it. But like my ultimate goal is just being like sub 20 yards from a giant bull moose, and I stick him with a longbow. Like, to me, that's like the ultimate, like, primitive, like, just, like, to me, I can just see it, and I'm like looking up at him, and
let's do it, man. Johnny and I will work on our camera work, and then you let us know when you got the tag. We'll come up there, and you can work your editing magic after we film it in a really sucky way. It'll be great.
I need a good amount of time to practice with that bow, because I'm not going out with it this year because I just haven't practiced enough.
Well, we need a good amount of time practicing with our cameras, so I think we're on the same pace.
I also need to start saving some money for that too.
Yeah, that one will drain the bank account for sure.
Yeah.
Damon, this has been awesome, man. I really appreciate it.
Guys.
I am eagerly, watching for your work. I texted this to you personally, man, but I'm like, Damon, you got a gift, dude.
Yes.
It's a great joy to watch someone who has discovered the gift that God has given them and is just going for it. It is a treat. I know that you referenced a couple times as I think deeply creative people deal with this imposter syndrome, like self-doubt. Like anybody who's going to try to do what they're gifted at is going to go through that. And from us to you, man, keep after it. The world needs to see your work. It's awesome. If you have not watched Damon's stuff yet, well, that's the question. Where do people watch your stuff if they're not familiar with the work you've done?
Yeah, you can go to my website or my Instagram page, All for One Creative. So ALL41, then creative. So like that's where I'll highlight some of the projects we've done. But like throughout, certain social platforms and a few different brands, it's kind of spread out everywhere. And there's a lot of stuff coming. Like I just spent a good amount of time on the road. There's a lot of cool stuff coming. So I'm excited.
That's fantastic, dude. Well, keep after it, man.
I appreciate your guys' kind words. It means a lot. And I can see this being a long-term friendship. So God bless you guys.
Yeah.
Thanks, man. Thanks for being here. Same.
Behind the scenes bonus banter.
All right. That's a wrap, dude.
Yeah. Give Ricky hell for me.
We will, man. We will. He's great.
He's awesome.
Yeah. That's good. So you missed the big one, huh? Or the one you were after?
Well, yeah. And it's like, it's so early. It's not a big deal, but it's kind of one of those like, ooh, we had kind of planned on going tonight, and if everything would have lined up and we could have went, we really would have got him. That's okay.
Hey, I'm sure the golf tournament, you can hop back in the stand a couple more times this season. But the golf tourney only comes once. That's a pretty special memory for you guys, I'm sure.
Yeah, it was fun. It's really good.
Good. Daniel and I. All right. Yeah. I got a story. So Daniel and I got them all pumped, filming, opening day.
Yeah.
We're like milking our time. I go out, get him some DQ. He's pumped. We got to go pick up our license. And I'm like, just get him a youth license. He's like, the dude behind the counter is like, I think it's free. I think you just go. I'm like, it is free, but I don't think you just go. I don't stuff. Like you have to have like harvest registration. It's like, no, I think you just go. I'm like, He's like, well, let's check the regs. I'm like, solid plan. I should have done that myself. And then he's like, he's got to be 10. I was like, what?
Oh.
I was like, because I've done this several times where I have the Wisconsin system in my mind. And then so I'm like, oh crap. In Minnesota, you cannot do anything. You can hunt with, but you cannot harvest any animals until you're 10 years old.
Oh.
So I was like, although the positive thing about him being 7 is that he's just like, so you can shoot him? I'm like, yes, I can shoot him.
Yes.
So we ended up going out and got winded by a couple, but that just means that I have to drop some more change to get him a Wisconsin tag.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. And then you gotta come up here and he's gotta sit here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I actually pulled the blind and everything. But I've done that a couple times. If you grew up hunting in Wisconsin, you got to be careful.
Oh, yeah.
Because the other thing is it's so convoluted, the number of bucks or number of deer you can take in different areas. Like there are areas of Minnesota you can take 5 deer, 2 bucks, 3 does, and some areas where you can take 1 and it's only an antlered deer. So the other thing is the bag limit is strong. So you can't shoot an archery buck and then go get a rifle license and shoot a rifle. A gun deer, like you got one buck, most of the states, you pick how you're going to kill them. And if you don't fill your archery tag, you can go out and get a firearm tag, but then you're done. So it's a little bit of it's not the same as Wisconsin. So if you're not picking up on it, Wisconsin's regs are so much better.
For sure.
But he wasn't too it was fine. I was like, I'll get a chance to try this crossbow thing out. And
Yeah.
we had a doe literally, gosh, it sounded like it was 2 feet behind the blind, but there's a trail that goes right behind the blind. And I knew it was a crapshoot because of the wind. And sure enough, we're both sitting there just kind of like, whatever. He's playing a game on the phone. And then, you know, just like, crap. I jumped straight out of my chair.
And then you were like, well, that's the hunt.
Yeah, I was like, there's no chance after that.
Yeah.
I should have started packing up, but I should have also not hunted on that wind, but he was so jacked.
Yeah.
We got to. There he is. Hey, Damon. It's happening. Going? It's happening. We're actually doing it. Look at this.
Yeah.
Good to see you, man.
I'm not in my truck this time.
Yes, no kidding.
I'm sorry. I apologize for that. That was a rough time.
Don't worry about that at all. Dude, my first question for you. We're recording, but we haven't started.
Oh, okay.
Are you not exhausted? Didn't you just get back from like 3 weeks out?
I'm very exhausted. I mean, I'm exhausted in like a really good way, you know, like I'm blessed. And I think exhaustion's a lot more, what's the word for it? It's easier to deal with when you just love what you do.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm tired, but I'm waking up chasing critters with a camera. Like I'm blessed. I have no room to complain, especially now with everything that's happening in the world right now. Like I have nothing to complain about. Like I am blessed. Right. So I try and wake up and just like soak in what I have and what's, you know, I don't really worry about the future, if I'm being honest. So that kind of gets me through that exhaustion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gets you through recording a podcast after 3 weeks on the road at 8:15 p.m. with a bunch of random dudes.
Yeah. 2 weeks wasn't 3. If I was doing 3 weeks, I'd be crashed out right now. But two is doable.
Oh yeah, that's good.
But yeah, man.
Well, you met us a little bit last time, but you got any questions about who we are? I've been getting to know Ricky. He's been tuning in my bow. It's been fun to hear.
Man.
I represent. You know,
I love it, dude. I love the Vapor Trail crew. Yeah, did you go and visit?
Yeah, so I'm working on a how to transition to heavy arrow project with Easton and VPA, broadheads and some Apex gear. And so I just brought him my Matthews verdicts and he got me all dialed in, and then something went wrong and I went back and he got me dialed in again within the same week. So they're humming really good now. But
yeah. Ricky's a little bow wizard. Ricky sets up all my bows. I just trust him, even if it doesn't go well. Like if there's like something unexpected, like he always knows how to fix it. And overall, like he's just an awesome dude. So I'm glad you got to go and visit the boys there. Did you meet like Jake Hollywood?
Yep.
You met
I'm
him.
glad you said his real name because all I know is his name is Hollywood.
Yeah, Hollywood.
Like, Wood or Hollywood. Yeah, he's great.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's the whole crew there. So their place is like 20 minutes from my house. So that's like my home lane. Yeah, nice. So I go there. I mean, I do work with them too, but like I just go there to shoot the shit and shoot bow, and it's just a good time there.
Yeah, they've got it set up super well. I happen to have a drone. Well, I went there the first time, so I got some drone footage. I'm like, hey, if you're gonna work out my bow, I'll just give you some drone footage from the.
Yeah, dude.
Sweet. They like, he's so generous with his time, man. I was like, they just like, they take the time to get it right. They're not gonna just like, anyways.
Yeah, that is one thing about Vapor Trail that I like try and tell people is it's not an in and out shop. It's not, if you're going to Vapor Trail, like book an hour, book 2 hours. You know, it might not take that to get your bow tuned up, but the people there are so great. Like they actually care about your hunt coming up, and they'll, if you screw up fleshings or you have questions about insert weights or literally anything, like Vapor Trail is the place. And not only that, they're making your bowstrings that you're putting on your bow in the basement of the place. Like it is perfect. It is the perfect solution for people that like have questions that like want that one-on-one experience. It's almost like the private school of archery shops. You know, like if you like in public school, if you really want to know like the unit you're working on, like to me is the private school of archery shops. Like you go in there and like, yeah, they're there to take care of you. And yeah, it's awesome. I'm glad you could experience that.
Yeah. I mean, we had a little history, but I mean, I was watching customers come in, and it's not like I've had the experience when you go into a pro shop, you're like, are they going to make me feel dumb here?
Yeah.
Yeah. They don't. They're just like, what do you got? What's the deal? Let's figure this out. You know, I've dealt with some grumps, man, in archery shops where I'm like trying to make small talk, and it's like,
yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. Like Vapor Trail is amazing. Like Archery Country is also an awesome shop. We have so much access to archery.
We do.
I feel like our state, like Minnesota and Wisconsin too, like we have some of the best like bow shops, and I don't know about the world. I haven't been to like many outside of Minnesota, Wisconsin, but like we have some really talented dudes. Yeah. Yeah, dude, like we have really talented guys working on our bows, and it's awesome. You know, and like the guys are taking off work to go hunting. Like I'm talking to Ricky right now. Actually, I have to respond to one of his texts about like a North Dakota hunt we're going on in October. So like these are guys that like genuinely care about success in the field, right? They're not, it's cool to sell stuff, but they want to make sure your stuff is working. Yeah. And if that newest, greatest thing isn't it for you, like they're not going to try and push that on you, which I appreciate a lot. So,
good, man.
Yeah.
Well, now that we've filmed an infomercial for Vapor Trail, I hope.
We'll just right on to Ricky.
Yeah.
Save all the Vapor Trail talk for Rick.
Yeah, we'll get there with him. Well, yeah, you got any more questions for me or Johnny? And I'll give you a little roadmap of what I think we're going to do here.
Yeah. My only question is like, this is a really late podcast, and going into it, I'm not gonna lie, I was like, this is really late for a podcast, but now I'm like, I have a candle lit, I have these lights on, and I'm just like kind of vibing now. So I was talking to my girlfriend, and I was like, hey, I have a podcast tonight, and she's like, what time? Like 8:15. Whoa, what? Like, I don't know, but I'm ready for it. Let's do it.
We both have kids and all that stuff, so like it has just worked out for us. Like, put the kids to bed and then record the podcast.
Yeah. No, it works great. I love that.
It's good, man.
Heck yeah.
Hey there. Thanks for watching this video. I'm JD, founder and crew member of the HuntXP team. We're so grateful that you took time to watch this video, and hopefully it's helping you level up your hunting game. That's what we in our community is all about, and we want to invite you into this growing community of hunters that's all about leveling up each other's hunting game. So the first thing you can do is like and subscribe, but even more than that, we got some fun things going on over at our website, HuntXP.com. We'd love for you to join our community there and stay connected with what we're doing, what we're working on, and we'd love to hear about what you're after. So thank you for watching this video. We'll see you next time.